Welcome to Thunderstorm Advanced Numenera. First steps. As I said before, there were several versions to play the game. For the first game setup, I'm going to skip that because I'm interested in figuring out how randomizers work. I've seen the term randomizer also occur in Ian's End. I never really did grok it, but I forgot to say that you can also, aside from playing the three versions, so the first game setup, the two scenarios, and randomizers, you can also add on a settings card. Settings cards, for example, Ember Monolith is an extra effect. I think you can place it here on above the village text and below the dungeon. There's a space like so. And this triggers whenever you gain a level 3 hero. You start with level 0 heroes, so it will take it will not trigger often. There are other cards, for example the Beanstalk. This is when you roll a d20 at the beginning of the game, and yeah, the artwork is fantastic. But I think these are just shots from the RPG, which AEG bought, I think. Abilities and effects remain active for all players until the next die roll. The active player rolls again after each turn a monster was present in his or her hand. Okay, yeah. When you defeat a monster in the dungeon, then it goes into your hand, and so the next turn you may draw it, the next shuffle, and then draw. You may draw it. Shuffle one guardian monster. That's a boss monster that you set aside into the bottom 10 cards of the dungeon deck once only. Okay, yeah, if you roll a d20 and you roll a 1 on the d20. The d20, this is the d20 that comes with the game, so and some copies are on the market where the d20 is gone, so but everybody has a d20. So I rolled a 5, for example. Which means that I would place a non-guardian monster in rank 3 on the bottom of the dungeon deck. So you take from the box a rank 3 non-guardian monster, and then you put it on the current dungeon deck bottom. Replace it with the top card of the dungeon deck. Huh? Okay, you place it on the bottom and then you replace it with the top card of the dungeon deck. If a guardian monster is in rank 3, it trades places with the monster in rank 2 once only. Well, if you understand it, I don't. Okay, then there are also things, and when does this happen? Also, spend or discard XP, so that's quite often. And if you are unlucky, then you have to discard a hero. If you are lucky, extremely lucky, then you can destroy a disease. And I'm not sure what the title here means. Repeat village dungeon. dungeon. Destroy on disease. Okay. So either one of these three things are active from the moment somebody spends or discards XP. And if any player goes into a village or dungeon, then they can destroy a disease. If they send their hand into a dungeon, then you can do this. So this gives a localized rules variability, which is totally overkill for getting to learn the game. The instructions are: build your basic deck. So you take 6 regulars, 2 long spear, 2 torch, 2 thunderstone shards from the box. Well, there is enough, so you can already preset them. The book doesn't mention that, but yeah, it's the full deck looks like this. So you shuffle it and you place it face down in front of you. And these 12 cards from the player's basic deck. That's fine and dandy. Let's put it here. Select your position. Here you find out which monsters you face. What follows is a standard setup. Feel free to experiment. Shuffle the monster randomizers. And yeah, okay, let's do that. I put fronts to fronts and backs to backs to avoid bending over time of cards. Even if they didn't finish, they will bend. That's not what you want. Until you find one monster group each of level 1, level 2 and level 3. It's printed in right beneath the card name. Okay, 1. Right beneath the card game name. I think this is just level 1. And then we go for a level 2. And we want a level 3. Yeah, okay. So, Verminaus, Infected and Ancient One. If you draw any feature randomizers... What is a feature randomizer? Feature randomizer is distinctly yellow, and it has the title Dungeon Feature. If I had drawn this, I would put them with the monster cards I've revealed for the setup, so I would have put them here. But I didn't. And there are also traps and monsters and other things. In general, the rulebook assumes that you have various copies of Thunderstone Advance available. But it is a standalone game, standalone expendable. Alright, then what do we do with these 3? Draw into a group of L1, L2, L3. Disregard extra, keep featured draws, keep only first treasure, set aside guardians, monster decks, separate tiers. Okay. So we go look in the box for a thing called Verminaus. And that's these guys. Infected. That's these guys. And Ancient Ones. Ancient ones. Ancient ones. Okay. Then what? Yeah, so find the card sets, monsters, traps, and treasures that match the randomizers you drew and place them nearby. These will make up the dungeon deck. Set aside any guardian cards for now. I don't have guardian cards, I think. Unless they are in here. Let's check. Are you a guardian? I don't see guardians. No guardians here. Are you a guardian? Let's see. No, they're all called infected because they are from the infected deck. So I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. So there are not really instructions for the guardians. Oh, here. Shit. Look, this should have been placed on top. Note, there are no guardians other than Thunderstone Bearers or traps in Thunderstone Numenera. It's a Thunderstone Advanced Numenera, but so you can disregard the whole guardian thing. Right. But what you do is you make up the dungeon deck, and the game instructs to shuffle these all three together, which is a really bad idea. So you can best shuffle the decks separately. Otherwise, the game would start with these extremely